Well, good evening, one and all. This is Disturboed from RaceOnOz.com, and welcome to the Race Spec Esports Specific Series. Of course, we're back on the PlayStation 4 playing F1 2019. This is Tier 1. This is the creme de la creme. And we are here for round 11 of the Pacific Series Championship, Tier 1 Championship at Germany. So hopefully we're in with a bit of another crack of a race like we had last week at Britain. And I'm joined alongside me, not by our regular co-commentator Ben, who is currently still at work once again. He's there pretty much all night tonight, so he won't be joining us, but I am joined alongside by Braden, otherwise known as, what's your gaming tag these days, Braden?
Mega right now, and I'm
Mega right now, there we go.
I'm happy to be here, and I'm looking forward to a very exciting race. I got the opportunity to commentate during Monaco, which was an incredibly exciting race, and I think it shows just how much people are willing to take it to perform well here.
That's right, and we've had some pretty good races over the last few rounds, and of course Silverstone was our last round, and we end up with a new race winner who had just actually joined us for that round, and that was Darren R11, who is actually with us again tonight, as well as Peter Crichton, who finished just behind him. They had an absolutely ding-dong battle the entire race, and Peter is here with us again tonight as well. So hopefully we're going to see the same from these two, and see if they can take the fight to Amazing Hour, who didn't have the best of races last week. He actually got caught up in some first lap shenanigans and found himself at rear of the field, tried making his way through, and yeah, didn't get quite all the way there, having been sent back again with another incident. And we've got Andre being a bit slidey on these opening qualifying laps. So yeah, we've got our qualifying session underway. So let's see what people come up with. Then we've got some cars out on the hard tyres to start with, and yeah, we'll see how this develops as the session unfolds. Now guys, if anyone's watching in the chat, can you just give us an okay or not on the audio, please? We're just trying a few different things, trying to eliminate that clicking sound that comes through every so often. Find out which one it is. It seems to happen on the live stream.
JB's come through fast, setting a strong 13.3 on the hards. Darren 11 Suskus, only 600ths of a second behind LJB on the mediums.
Alright, thanks for that, plebs. Okay. So 40 now. 40 was our third place getter last week, finishing behind Peter and Darren. So let's see what his first lap effort will be. He is, of course, as you can see, on those hard tyres. They seem to be quite slidey to start with. So we've got currently in provisional pole with Aussie. Looks like to be another new starter this week. Don't recall seeing Aussie. Oh, maybe he was earlier. I can't 100% remember. I don't have the full championship stands in front of me, but he's out of the box there with a 1:12.2, but set on the soft tyres as 40 comes to finish his first lap now. We'll see where he ends up.
Sounds like exciting times ahead. We've got 3 or more new top level contenders. Potentially going to be a very interesting race with people forming that high of a level.
So 40's up in third fastest there, but a full second behind Aussie on the softs, which you would expect with those different tyre deltas there. So we've got some interesting tyre strategies already developing. We've got the full gamut of compounds being used here. Pleb's currently on an out lap. Start his first time lap, and again on those hard tyres.
Tyre strategy obviously very important. We don't have the luxury of Pirelli telling us which is the best strategy.
It's all about making your own decision here. So I'm sure a lot of these guys do put in a lot of practice during the week, trying to develop their own race strategy and work out what tyres that they're going to be using. And so let's see Plebs now starting his laps through turn 1, cross the curbs, not too much, don't want to unsettle the car too much. DRS wide open, slams on the brakes for turn 2. Don't want to compromise too much and lose your exit out of turn 3 because it'll all count down here. This is sort of like the Grand Tour isn't straight. Down into the hairpin now. Hard on those brakes. Brake discs already glowing red. Back over to the right side of the track here. Takes a lot of curb on that turn. You've got to shoot straight back over the left for this. And then chuck it in. Use the camber of the track to get around. And keep the flow of the car to change of direction. And Plevs crosses the line and is third fastest with a 12.8. Not a bad lap there on the hards. Amazing how it's also set a 12.8. So he's done alright. That's on 3 lap old hard tyres as well. So are these tyres, the hard tyres, ones that get quicker as they progress? That'd be interesting to see. So let's see what Amazing is doing. He looks like he's on another. He looks like he could be going again on this tyres. He's did a bit of weaving to get a temp back in them, so he could be going again on the same set of tyres. Watch out there.
It's an important race for Amazing Hour. He clearly has several new challenges facing up to him.
That he does. He had a bit of a shocker last week, as mentioned. He does hold a very commanding lead in the championship though, obviously, so it's not too much of a stress for him, but a few more of those type of rounds and well, anything could happen. Let's follow him now. Well, so he already backed out of that one straight after turn 1, so that was a bit of build up for nothing. So let's see, we've got R11. He's on another outlap on soft tyres. A blank driver there, not too sure what that is. And we've got Greedy on his way for his first time lap on soft tyres. 8 minutes of the session remaining. Oh geez, that was a big cut of the turn 1 there.
I'll take anything those corner cutting settings will let him get away with.
Of course, the corner cutting settings are run on strict in this series, so even what you think might be alright may not pass the settings. It goes very, very deep. A few different lines you can take through that corner and still manage to pull a lap time out of it.
It's interesting to see that a lot of people are going either one way or another, going on the hardest compound or the softest. Only Suskus right now is sitting on the mediums.
see at the top of the sheets there, Aussie still leads with that 112.2, and Greedy's back into the pits again, so he hasn't yet to set a time. Meanwhile, Pete Crichton is going second to the 12.7, so those hard tyres are definitely getting faster. He's at 5 laps old.
R11 just put in 5/10 faster than the current lap time. In sector 2.
So Darren 11 is on his, going quite a bit faster than his previous time. In fact, he's looking good to actually jump to the provisional pole position. Going by his splits, we'll see, we'll stick with him here to the final lap. Oh no, he's pulled in. Well, that's interesting. Is he feeling out the tyres? Is he just trying to see which one might be the best?
Considering the gap in performance and in survival time between those tyres, it could make all the difference for so many people.
Well, that's it. The strategy could play quite a big deal here.
You must be sitting there looking at the menu, seeing all those people on hard tyres and wondering, are you doing the right thing? Are you on the right track?
Very true. And Plevs shoots up to second on his second time run to a 12.5. And Pete, that's very late goal, very Lewis Hamilton-like call into the pits there, and he is driving the Mercedes, so that's very ironic.
The angriest entry into the pits I might have ever seen in my entire life.
He goes back in, so he's obviously thinking his tyres are gone. But Plevs with a 12.5, so getting close to that provisional pole time there. Aussie's back out on his outlap.
He's going
on the medium, so he's thinking, can he go faster on the mediums? Let's see what 40 can do here. Who else is on the outlap? Suskas. Let's see what Suskas is up to. He's a bit earlier in his lap, so we'll go back to 40. 40 again, sticking with those hard tyres. Aussie's also setting a new lap, and 40's in, so let's go with Aussie. See how he goes on these medium tyres. Squirrely attitude there. No, and he's backed out of it already. Spilly has come up with second fastest with a 12.4 on medium tyres.
In the top 3 positions, we have all 3 compounds.
Very interesting. Yeah, that's very, very interesting. All 3 compounds represented. So this is going to be a different style of race, I believe. So Pete Crichton is back out now. He's on mediums now. So he can't quite get there on the hards, but maybe he can with those medium tyres. It's only half a second down off the provisional pole time.
Certainly we've seen it prove that all 3 compounds can potentially be competitive.
Greedy comes back out once more. He's only got 3 minutes remaining. He's yet to set a lap time, so this is going to have to be it for him. And he's chosen to go on the medium tyres, so whatever he does in the next lap is possibly going to be it for him. Last week's race winner Darren, he looks to be on a lap now and he's 4/10 up on his previous best, which is not great considering he's on medium tyres. How much more time can he pull back?
He's
in
gained
his final
another,
sector.
He's gained another 3/10.
Where does he end up?
And
there he goes. Wow, he has absolutely nailed that one with 12.0 on the medium tyres. He just shoots into provisional pole. I thought he was absolutely nowhere there for a minute. It looked to only be 4/10 up, but that could possibly be in sector 1. time, I'm not 100% sure, but gee whiz, that's a great lap time from Darren.
That was an incredible third sector to pull back that much time.
Bit of wheel spin there from Greedy out of the hairpin.
Greedy also looking to set himself at lap time.
We'll see where Todster finishes up, and he is not improved, or he's starting a lap I should say. His previous time was on those hard tyres. Let's see where he can go.
Everyone heads out. Maybe heading out on the final outlap.
It's going to be a bit of a
Pete Crichton has taken.
Crichton has absolutely smashed Darren's time by nearly 3/10.
Somewhere in their head, these drivers and these players, a switch has been flipped and they're coming out and they're chipping time off each other.
Track condition must be really improving. I think Todster seems to be cruising, but not too sure. We'll see what the sector 2 split is. And he's nearly 2 seconds slow, so he's gone out of that lap, looking to do possibly another one. Amazing Hour.
It's an important lap for Amazing Hour.
Let's join him for his final run.
Now, 3 newest participants have taken are sitting on the podium.
So Amazing Hour also gone out on those medium tyres. So there's still a number of people on hards in the timesheets, but there's a few of them out on outlaps at the moment, so they're looking to possibly improve. I'd say they've all gone out in mediums as well, but we'll stick with Amazing Hour here. I didn't catch that sector 1 split. I was looking elsewhere. He's currently over a second off provisional pole, and he's half a second up on his best time, so he needs to find a hell of a lot of time here in sector 3. Can he do it?
There's one thing we've seen, people can get incredible amounts of time there with a good sector 3. Qualifying times have ticked out. Amazing Hour, how will you reply?
How did he go? Second fastest, 1/10 off, so he's pulled another half a second just in sector 3 alone, but it wasn't enough to grab that pole position. And it looks like there's a few people that have abandoned their final runs, and we have our grid pretty much set, I believe. Todster, can he do anything? And he moves up to 8th position. So everyone has completed their laps now.
Now with 40.
And so our grid has been set. And it's Pete Crichton who's taken the pole position.
And 40, with his, the final lap takers jumped up to 3rd.
40 jumps up there in the dying seconds, and wow, look at that. There's less than a 10th covering the top 3 positions. Well, they're all starting on the medium tyres, so Plebs looks like he's decided to play the strategy game and stick with those hard tyres for the start, but he's all the way down in 10th position, so he's going to hope that he doesn't lose too much time. Aussie ends up finishing in 5th, Darren in 4th, and Greedy actually did finish a lap time, got up into 6th position, so well done to Greedy. And well, this is going to be a very interesting race. We've got some fast guys starting from a bit further down the grid, so
packed well close together.
And the really interesting thing is that we've got the 2 guys, or we've got Pete, who was one of the fast guys from last week, and also, of course, Amazing Hour, who's been fast every round basically, starting right at the front. So this is going to be quite interesting over the course of this race. Can Pete actually take it to Amazing Hour? Will Amazing Hour be challenged in this race? That is the question. We'd love to see it. We all would love to see it. Have another great race like we did last week up the front. And yeah, maybe even put a little bit more spice back into this championship. So just Just waiting for everyone to ready up. Grid is set, as you can see. We lost somebody, I'm not too sure. We've got an extra blank name there. I didn't see anything pop up.
Anyway, by the end of qualifying, the majority of drivers went on to the medium compounds.
So if you have a look here, you can see there, as I say, the top four on the mediums, Aussie being the only car on the softs. And then you got another set of four on the mediums, and then Plebs and Zeppi, the only two cars starting on the hards, and then everybody else on the mediums as well. So how is this strategy going to play out? Is this going to be a hard medium race, or is this going to be...
Aussie will be certainly hoping to get the most out of those soft tyres while he can.
Yes, will he be able to make up any positions? But he'll most likely end up being the first to pit unless there's any incidents in the first few laps. Pete backs the field up now. So he doesn't want to lose too much temperature out of those brakes and tyres. He's worked hard to put in there over the formation lap. We've got two cars running, or one car running the back there. I'm not too sure who that is. No name, I can't recall seeing that one. Anyway, everyone starts to line up. Takes their spot on the grid and waiting the lights. Five lights are on. And we're away for the German Grand Prix. And it looks like Pete gets a good start. Amazing how coming up the inside. He wants to take that first position, and he's got him on the outside. Inside.
He's knocked Pete off.
But Pete hangs in there. He's looking to dive down the outside. Darren and 40 back behind.
Aussie and Spilly contesting fifth.
Pete's not giving this up without a fight. He's got the better line through this car. He's trying to go straight across the inside to cut Amazing Hour off. And we've got Darren wanting to make a move now. He goes down the inside of Amazing Hour, and he's also might have Pete here.
They're tightly packed coming in.
What a fantastic move by Darren. I think he's going to take first.
Can he make it?
He's hanging around. He does. Great move there by Darren. Into the lead of the race he goes. Amazing Hour still in third position now.
Darren saw his opportunity and he took it.
We've got cars going off at the back end of the track there. Looks like Andre. Oh, and who was that? That was Aussie way off into the dirt.
Aussie having a tough day at the office to start. First losing fifth to Spilly, sixth to Toddster. And now he's knocked down to 11th.
So at the end of lap one, Darren, who was in fourth position, now leads this race. Closely followed by Pete, the pole sitter, and then Amazing Hour. Fantastic battle between these three in the opening stanza.
If what we're seeing is any indication, I don't think this battle's over by a long shot.
Absolutely not. We've still got battles going on, obviously, further down the pack, but this is just one that we can't. Lee 40 is right up Amazing Hour's gearbox. He's not letting these guys get away with anything at the moment either. Brake lock up there. It looks like either Pete or Darren. Darren is now slowly pulling a small gap, 7/10 in front. There was no DRS just yet. He'd be wanting to break that advantage before DRS is enabled.
Seeing what these guys are capable of without DRS, I'm scared to think what could be possible with.
He is setting the fastest lap already, and DRS is enabled. So he's not quite out of DRS just yet. It will help Pete defend against Amazing Hour though, that's for sure.
As a matter of fact, we have a lot of DRS available all the way down the grid.
You see they are actually maxed out on power. Looks like Aussie has already pulled out of the race, unfortunately, due to that incident earlier. They're not letting Darren get away with anything right now. In fact, Pete is slowly closing the gap.
Amazing Hour hasn't let go of the back of Pete. He's been as close as he can be as much as possible.
Pete using all of the track there, plus some. Get around turn one.
DRS kicks in.
Yeah, a little bit closer to Darren as they were the previous lap.
Darren in the unenviable position of being one of the few drivers in the field right now who doesn't have the advantage of DRS.
Oh, so deep under brakes.
He sees it. He sees something. He's got a strong exit. Darren's
Pete's going to make a move around the inside here. He wants that position back. So Darren's got the optimal line here. And Amazing Hour takes opportunity.
He's not Pete. Pete's giving him the hardest time possible.
He hung Amazing Hour out to dry there. He had nowhere else to go. Oh, he's gone very deep there.
Looming in the windshield.
That's going to let Amazing Hour back, I think. It has, but still.
Amazing Hour not letting go. 40's.
40's right there. He's wanting a piece of this action. And of course, this is just letting Darren skip away a little bit more. Fantastic racing we've got going on here so far.
Don't know whether you breathe a sigh of relief at that behind you or know that they're coming for you at some point.
Amazing, yeah, all over the back there of Pete.
Doing everything he can to remind him that he is right there.
Makes another attempt down the outside. Pete goes inside to defend. Amazing Hour with the crisscross. But he's not quite far enough ahead to make that one work.
Amazing Hour, he can see it. He can feel it.
Meanwhile, back through the field, we've got LJB trying to make a move here on Spilly. And he gets the move done. He moves up into 6th position. And you see there, Spilly has actually contacted the back of LJB, pushed him wide, and he's lost 2 positions there.
Spilly sliding down the grid, almost dropping a place to Crossy.
You can see there's Plebs there on his hard tyres. He's gained 1 spot there because of Spilly going off as well.
Pete Crichton's in big trouble. He's just taken a 3-second time penalty. There's strict corner cutting restrictions potentially coming into play now.
So they're quite close now to Darren. Again, Amazing Hour down the outside, tries to crisscross, but 40's right there as well.
And
we've got a bit of a situation here with cars trying to get frisky with each other. And Pete locks up and lets Amazing Hour through for second.
Potentially traumatised by the incident that just took place. Amazing Hour finally able to make that move stick, and he's ready to move on to Darren. Pete's not going to let him get away that easy.
So I'm not too sure how that would have played out on each driver's screen there, but it was a rather interesting situation. Okay, so now we've got another test here.
40
Can Pete hang on to the back of Amazing Hour?
What can 40 do? He's putting a lot of pressure on Pete now.
He certainly is. All cars on the same tyres. Amazing Hour, just over 3/10 off the back of Darren. Darren seemingly getting the better drive out off that hairpin. They did take two different lines. A little bit of a lock up there again. He's still all over the back there of Pete.
Pete seems to have gotten defending through the first DRS zone down to a fine art. Every time 40 or even Amazing Hour before him made a move, he was ready to defend that inside line.
Finally lost the spot. Just on a different part of the track. So again, if we watch from on board Amazing Hour here, we watch the different lines that they take through this hairpin. In fact, Amazing Hour is a little bit closer. Darren goes very much to the inside. This is a different line to what he's used to. He goes very deep and blocks off Amazing Hour doing the switchback, which is a great move there by Darren.
Making sure that he gets every little bit of that corner at the expense of Amazing Hour. Getting a strong exit on him.
Meanwhile, Plebs has actually moved up to the 8th position after taking Saska, so his tyres are looking good. And he's only half a second now off Zeppi.
Now Plebs is going to have to watch his tail as sus because he can see him in that rear view mirror and he's looking mighty big.
So Pete has managed to catch back up now to Amazing Hour, hasn't let him go.
40
backed off there for a little bit when he got past and maybe just let the tyres cool off a fraction. Here we go, he's very close to Amazing Hour now. Let's see if he can make a move. But Amazing Hour does have the DRS as well. He moves to the inside. Oh, he gets a bit of wheel-to-wheel contact here. Nicely controlled. The car's locking up everywhere there as they go so deep under brakes. Again, just that left front locking up on that as it gets unweighted on that left turn. Alright, so we're going to see another move here. Pete's a little bit further back than he was last lap. Sticking with Amazing Hour, he's right at the back of Darren here.
He's gaining. Darren's defending the inside.
Inside, Amazing Hour.
Got a lot of momentum.
Goes for the switchback this time. Looks like he's a lot further up now.
It's a solid exit by both drivers.
No one giving an inch, no one giving a quarter. Darren maintains the inside line.
Locks up slightly. Amazing Hour can make something out of this.
Amazing Hour goes through into the lead. He just kept it hanging out there. He knew his time would come.
Side by side throughout all of Sector 2. It was a matter of who's going to blink first.
Right now, will Amazing Hour start his usual skipping away, or can these guys run with him? This is the question. But he's had to fight for it. This is lap the start of lap 11 of this 34-lap race, and it's only now that Amazing Hour has managed to get himself into the lead.
R11 has taken a 3-second time penalty of his own.
Well, these time penalties won't certainly help them at the end of the race. But no one is immune. We've seen the time penalties applied to every single driver before. So yeah, Darren looks to take his position back, and Pete wants to as well.
Pete wants him. 40 just behind him.
40 looking strong here.
Sitting right in the slipstream of Pete.
Oh, and he moves to the outside. He wants to go around the outside as well. And oh, great move there by 40. That was absolutely brilliant.
Fortune favours the bold, and that might have been the boldest thing we've seen in this race so far.
Absolutely brilliant around the outside there.
Executed to perfection.
So what can 40 do? Can he also challenge? He's now into the final podium position. Can he challenge for anything else as well? So Amazing hasn't run away with this yet. The gap's about half a second, just under half a second. Obviously the DRS helping these guys stay in touch. If he's going to do anything, he needs to do it in that second and third sector, or probably third sector I should say.
Darren looking to make a move.
Oh, he's just biding his time. He could have had a look down the inside, but he's thought better of it. He's just biding his time. And that's going to be the key, I think. It's just going to be patient. You can't go for a move every single lap, because at some stage you will come unstuck. It looks like back in the field we've got Plevs, who's right on the back here of Zeppi. He's looking to make a move as well. Zeppi also on those hard tyres. So Zeppi's managed to get ahead of Plevs. He actually started behind him on the grid. So Plevs looking to take us at least that spot back.
Interesting to see what they can make of it.
Zeppi's all over the back there of LJB as well. I think Plevs is probably a little bit too far back. But let's see what these two up in front will do. Zeppi down to the outside, and he's going to go very, very long around the outside. Plevs looking to go down the inside.
LJB denied to switch back.
LJB with a better drive out of the corner.
So this is zeroed in quite tight.
Oh,
knocked
more
LJB.
Contact. Zeppi again into LJB. Oh, sorry, LJB again hit by another car. Oh, more contact with Plevs and Zeppi. They managed to keep control, but LJB is probably fuming. That's the second time he's been hit off the track.
The gloves are off in the midfield right now.
So the first time he was hit was by Spilly. Oh, goodness me, he will be absolutely spitting chips.
Suskas has made the first move into the pit.
He is into the pit lane, as along with Greedy.
First man in on the medium tyres.
So 14 laps in, so I dare say yes, he's going for the hard tyres.
Well, Darren's closing on Amazing. Darren
looks like he's got an inside move done on Amazing Hour, but it's all about the drive out of here. Great there by Darren, just absolutely shutting the door on Amazing Hour. Had to back out of that one, Amazing did. No contact, but
there was less than 2 seconds between our whole top four. Any backing off that you do is a tremendous risk.
So we have a battle on our hands, ladies and gentlemen. This is fantastic to see. Yeah, 20 laps remaining of this, and I think it's going to be 20 laps of some fantastic action. And Darren and Amazing Hour into the pits. So it looks like the medium tyre stops are starting, and Pete is also into the pits as well, as along with Toddster. And it looks like hard tyres for everybody.
40 in the clear air now.
So 40 looking to go a little bit longer. Maybe taking advantage of some clear air, but it all depends how much time he's got left in those hard tyres, medium tyres. And whether these fresh ones, fresh hards, are going to be faster. Todd's into the pit, Crossy into the pit, and LJB.
40 holding gap of just over 16 seconds to Darren.
So Andre is actually out on the soft tyres to get himself a fast lap, so he's on probably a two-stop strategy, which you may as well do when you're that far down. So will 40 pit, or will he go a bit longer? That is the question.
Must be a surreal experience for him. For half this race he's had cars in front of him, cars behind him, and now all of a sudden he's in the clear air.
And he does pit.
Takes the pits.
Everyone taking as much pit entry as they possibly can dare without losing control of the car. And he does pit for hard tyres.
Everything closes.
So how much longer can Plebs and Zeppi go, having started on the hard tyres? It looks like Plebs has managed to get in front there of Zeppi.
Darren has taken ahead of 40, but 40 has come out, I believe. No? Amazing how it comes out ahead on the side of 40, just barely.
Actually didn't lose much time at all, if any. He's right at the back of Amazing Hour.
And he's not about to let it go either.
Looking to make a move here.
And Pete sneaks in as well. Pete sneaks past them both. Can he make it stick?
Okay, so we've got 3 wide through the hairpin almost. 3 wide down the straight now. This
Someone's
is not going to end
have
well.
To give. They're not giving.
Pete's got the great line, inside line, but 40's made a great move, stick around here already, and he does so again. Maintains that 3rd spot. Oh, sorry, 4th spot is 40 at the moment.
Incredible performance by these 3, lining up almost perfectly to come out of the pits together.
Well, so 40 now pretty much running 2nd by corrected order. So he's moved up another spot after that pit stop sequence. So he still had a fair bit of pace left in those medium tyres, and was able to get right up on the back of Amazing Hour and complete the move. Pete also taking Amazing Hour in that little exchange there.
Meanwhile, if you are Darren, you must be incredibly happy, because for the first time in a while you can look in your rearview mirrors and not see 3 cars with DRS charging right up the back of you.
So he does have the break of nearly 2 seconds now. So he won't be threatened by DRS at all for a little while, until these guys can get their act together and get moving. But they've got each other to deal with now. Amazing Hour and Pete Crichton at it. We've seen moves around on the outside, we've seen moves around the inside of this turn. Pete runs a bit wide over the ripple strip. So if these guys reckon that these tyres, the hard tyres, are going to do 20 laps, we should see Plebs and Zeppi in to the pits in around 3 laps time, if they are looking at the same sort of tyre life duration. And of course we'll be coming out on the mediums, I would imagine, unless they want to run a bit longer and come out on the softs, but I don't know if that's plausible or not.
They tell us a lot about how far you can go on those hard tyres and what they look like at the end of their life.
These 3 still hard at it, not letting anyone escape. He has just closed a little bit meanwhile up to Darren, so he's not letting him run away with it too much. Just took a couple of tenths out of him. Well, this is the first round I think we've had in a while that we've basically been able to concentrate almost purely on the front runners. And Plebs has pitted, so he's pitted. Plebs has pitted. So he's only run a few extra laps, which would probably be a result of having the... and he's gone on to the medium tyres. There is Amazing Hour. He's actually gotten past Pete Crichton there, so just as we ran back to check what Plebs was doing, obviously Amazing Hour's gotten past Pete. Now he's going to make a move here on 40, right down the inside. Who's got the better drive? They're side by side once more, but on opposite sides of the track.
Oh.
40 hangs on. Amazing Hour down the inside still.
Crichton is watching.
Oh, there's a bit of a wheel bang there. 40 goes wide. And Amazing Hour moves back up.
They're practically connected at this point.
Third on track. Second in the corrected order after Zeppi makes his pit stop. So Zeppi now into the pits.
Getting the full 20 laps out of those hards.
2 seconds behind Darren. Right. So we start again. 14 laps remaining, 15 laps remaining.
Zippy 40 closes on the outside.
Oh, here we go. We've got 3 wide down into the hairpin once more. Amazing has to go very, very deep in the inside there. 3 wide on the exit of the hairpin. Here we go. Amazing Hour, 40 and Pete. Who gives in? Nobody.
How long can they sustain this?
All 40 breaks a little bit earlier.
Really trying to pick his spot.
Amazing Hour maintains his position all over the curbs. Does 40 go? Here comes Pete. No. So positions remain.
You can feel the intensity. They're practically flinging the cars around this corner at this point.
All this sort of fighting is letting Darren skip away. The gap now 2.4 seconds. Amazing. He wants to break away from these 2 behind him so he can concentrate on chasing down Darren.
And
40 now looking to make a move, a bit of a contact. Rear wheel of Amazing Hour, but everyone comes out of unscathed. Pete Crichton dives down the inside of 40. Whoops, wrong button. There we go. Doesn't get the move done though. So whilst ever these guys are within about half a second of Amazing Hour, once they hit that DRS range, it causes him to go defensive and he can lose time.
No, Amazing Hour wants to close that distance, but he can't blink even for a second on the guys behind him.
Pete Crichton picks up another time penalty, so this, again, we could be seeing time penalties play a factor in final results yet again. Of course, we've got some easy corners there. Turn 1 seems to be the culprit. Right, here goes 40 now. Has a look down the inside once again on Amazing. No, he's not quite that close. Amazing, a bit of a lock-up. Wasn't quite close enough to make that one work. got some action down in the midfield here. Plebs has made his way up in the 6th position now.
Rossi and Zeffi.
And I can see that obviously those medium tyres working well for these pair as they carve their way back through the field for those who have changed onto the hard tyres. Plebs though still 7 seconds behind 5th spot there, so he'd be looking to at the very least.
Todd's has probably spent this race wondering where everyone else has gone.
Very lonely race for Todster there.
Comfortable 5th position.
And R11 scores a time penalty as well. Now this is very interesting because we haven't yet, I don't believe, seen a time penalty for Amazing Hour.
I don't think we have.
So this could prove to be the deciding factor here. I mean, Amazing Hour could even just sit back and stay where he is and actually win the race.
With that being said, he's chomped a good chunk of time out of R11. I don't think he wants to win this on time penalties if he can avoid it. I think he wants to show why he is the current championship leader.
Absolutely right. So 40 and Pete still there. Amazing how it just seems to be so good around this 3rd sector. He pulls a bit of time on them.
Now potentially he looks to find himself in his groove. The gap starts to widen and maybe Darren, maybe the chase is beginning on Darren again.
You see their way back there. They are closing under the DRS, but not quite enough. Pete looks a look on 40, but he's a bit too far back as well. And they do have to consider they are on harder tyres, so the grip level not quite as good as what they would like or had been used to in the first half of the race.
You have to imagine battling so intensely for so long. It's done so much to those tyres, being in that heat, being in those intense battles. How much hard tyre can you have left?
Well, we're coming up to 10 laps remaining and the action is still going. No result is yet guaranteed. Amazing how it takes a lot of curve on that corner. I'm surprised he didn't just pick up a time penalty there, but he may still have some warnings left up his sleeve.
Pete's potentially got an opportunity on 40 here.
There's a little look. There's another look.
He's having a
down the
serious look.
inside. All contact with the 40's wing. Gets the move done. 40 didn't really fight that one too hard.
Very clean move.
He may not have any battery left. Maybe looking to charge that.
And with
yeah, Pete there had a bit of a look. Went back to the draft and then changed his mind and had another look. And actually pulled the move off.
Amazing how potentially getting the leeway he needs to focus on the attack, just barely inside the DRS range of Pete Crichton.
Yes, Amazing how was able to pull away a fair bit. And Pete gets another penalty, so this is another penalty for Pete. You have to rename your penalty, Pete. So Amazing how it is closing the gap to Darren, but we know Darren does have a penalty pending, so this could be a moot point, but I'm sure, as Braden has said, he doesn't want to win the race on penalties. He wants to win the race by crossing the line first. Yes,
Pete Crichton has made a massive jump up on Amazing
Hour,
and he's taken the place back.
I just looked, oh, lock up again from Pete. I'm not too sure what happened there because Pete was a full second behind Amazing Hour.
Pete on an absolute tear.
Oh, gets very sideways. I wasn't watching that gap, otherwise I would have gone to the different camera view.
Pete practically sneaking up out of nowhere, taking in less than half a lap, taking a full second out of Amazing Hour and getting the pass. Have to wonder, as you said, if battery management is starting to become a matter. Are these guys charging and deploying their batteries at different times?
So I'm pretty sure all of that game was not just through DRS. But he certainly made the move on Amazing Hour. It just came out of nowhere. He ended up getting the move done. So as I mentioned, it's still not over yet.
If Pete can take a second out of Amazing Hour, any one of them could take a second out of Darren's. It looks like that might even be the case. Pete is closing quite significantly on Darren.
1.3 seconds now.
Darren might have some more work to do before this race is over.
Oh, I think 40 was about the only car in that group that didn't cross the track limits there. I'm not too sure how strict the game is on that corner, but it seems to be there. Most people get caught there.
Amazing Hour.
Amazing Hour now, down the outside. He's past Pete Crichton. Pete wants to go deep into contact once more. Amazing Hour goes wide, gets a better drive off the corner, retains the position.
40.
Well, 40 and Pete come together. We've got cars locking up left, right, centre. 40's lost it.
Been caught. The pleasantries have gone out the window. This has turned into a
head
fight.
first into the fence, and he's lost the position. He's going to be spitting chips.
Todd's still probably happy to see the first person he's seen all race. Even more happy that he's just managed to get himself fourth.
Well, 40 was the loser in that little exchange there. There was contact a couple of times between all three of them at various stages. And
they're fighting harder and harder.
40 just happened to be the loser.
Darren must be taking another deep breath. It's again being able to pull away just that little amount.
2.3 seconds now.
Now Pete
Looks like
ready.
We've got Zefty unfortunately out of the race. Pete now got a good round at the outside. Amazing how it looks to defend that and does so. That was a cheeky move. Very late dive to the outside line there by Amazing Hour.
Pete getting caught wide.
I think the tyres are starting to scream out. Everyone's starting to get a little bit dirty, a little bit squirrely.
You can see it from the top. Those tyres aren't as grippy as they used to be.
Five laps remaining.
Darren picks up another time penalty.
Oh, another time penalty for Darren. I've yet to see Amazing Hour's name pop up, so this is going to probably be Amazing Hour's race, even though he does finish, even though he's currently at least in the second on the track. Pete now making a move down the outside. No, he thinks better of it. Switches to the inside. Damage.
Reduced damage, giving them just the leeway that they need. The tyres the way they are, the same old tricks aren't working.
If they're not careful, they could end up causing themselves some harm.
It's every possibility they knock each other out. Todster could sneak his way to a win. Don't know, I don't think we've seen Todster's name pop up, but I could very much be mistaken. Pete Crichton's going to have to mix up his strategy now. Those tyres are starting to start to feel the grip leaving those tyres.
He needs to be patient. 4 laps remaining. Still a few, and Pete, another time penalty. Again, I think
Darren's been dropped.
Darren has left the session. Oh no, this is terrible for Darren. With 4 laps remaining, Darren has left the session. Can he rejoin?
As with F1 2019 conventions, his car's taken over by an AI, but it is not a particularly fast AI.
So will Darren rejoin or not? It says he left the session and he didn't get disconnected, so I'm not too sure what is going to happen.
Invisible again. Oh, no,
it's
it
still
isn't.
Invisible, yeah. So amazing how it goes through, as does Pete on the invisible Darren. In fact, for some reason it's showing Darren is 1 lap down, but that's not correct.
That is very much not correct.
Okay, so now on track we have your 2. Now is your 1 and 2 positions.
He's
still invisible, so yet to rejoin. And he's losing time to Todster there, so not too sure what happened to Darren, unfortunately.
Dropped from session, 4 laps remaining. Now,
but he should still hopefully at least get classified as a finisher somewhere in the order, depending on how quick that AI is.
He's had such a strong race, it's got to be heartbreaking for that to happen so close to the end.
Yeah, especially so close from the end. A few cars out there on soft tyres, setting some fast laps there. Spilly, the current fastest lap.
He's still having trouble working with those hard tyres now that they've started to fall apart. As I'm sure you said so many times before, we have Amazing Hour in the lead and on track to win this Grand Prix.
So I think Todster's going to take the invisible Darren, as he does.
40 potentially after that.
And 40 will take it as well very soon after. And Plebs has 2 laps remaining to take the invisible Darren and move into 2nd spot. Fifth spot, I should say. Did I say 2nd spot? 5th spot, I meant to say.
Now with all these penalties, this I think is more for Pete about proving that he can keep taking it to Amazing Hour.
This is the point, because Pete has taken quite a number of penalties. Even if he passes Amazing Hour, he won't win the race because of his penalties. But will he lose 2nd? That is the question. I believe he will. I think he's taken more than 2 penalties.
I believe he has. I think he's taken up potentially even 4. He could be. He could still yet fall behind the invisible Darren.
So Todster will find himself, I think, having the quietest race of everybody and finishing 2nd on the podium.
An incredibly consistent race for Todster. It's sat comfortably in 5th, and then as things played out, he's brought himself up step by step, coming into the final lap, and Pete with another 3-second time penalty.
Oh my goodness, so Pete, goodness knows where he's going to end up, but Plebs has taken the invisible Darren. It's the final lap. LJB could as well, I think.
40 closing in, maybe able to get a place on the very much visible Todster.
Pete's looking to make a move on Dud, and he does get the move done there. But I think it's all moot.
I think you'll classify that one as a moral victory.
So he won on track, but he didn't win on the timesheets.
40 practically on the tail of Todster. 40 is able to take Todster.
So 40 got his position back.
in the final corners.
Well, Todster with a bit of a bump there.
Todster, can he get away with anything in these last few turns?
We're around the last few turns now.
Amazing now. He might cross the line behind Pete Crichton, but I'm sure he'll be quite happy to see the result.
So Pete Crichton takes the checkered flag in the German Grand Prix, but Amazing Hour finishes ahead. Due to those time penalties, 11.5 seconds behind. So where's Todster finishes ahead, and 40 as well. Oh, so Todster got it back ahead of 40. I believe that's due to penalties as well. And Plebs jumps up the order into third spot. Pete falls all the way down the 5th. Wow.
This is
Take a look at that. Darren. Invisible Darren finishes in 7th.
Gone from race leader to 7th. That's just what we were saying, the difference that those time penalties can make. Todster.
So Todster, even though he got passed by 40, 40 had his own penalties to deal with, and he got dropped 2 positions, back down to 4th. Plevs, looks like he's had a clean run, and managed to jump up and finish on the podium after starting on the hard tyre, starting on the alternate strategy. He's made it work for him.
Plevs and Todster very, very much being rewarded for their consistency.
Certainly have. Todster must have had the quietest race of anybody for the vast majority of that race, and yeah, finishes on the podium. So wow, what a fantastic result. I mean, Amazing How it has won the race again, but he had to work for it, that's for sure. There's some fantastic racing action going on there. Unfortunately, yes, the penalties did play another part in the result, but we saw some great on-track action, some great passing. Amazing How extends his championship lead once again.
That's got to be an important confidence boost, seeing 3 or 4 new incredibly talented drivers come in, perform so well.
So let's have a look at the final results.
And perhaps a look at the race director. I think we'll be doing some scrolling on that penalties screen.
This certainly doesn't harm Todster and Plevs' championship position, finishing on that podium. And I believe that will be Plevs' first podium of the season, if I'm not mistaken. Here we go. So Amazing, I did have penalties actually, times by 2. Todster only had the 1 penalty. Plevs only the 1 penalty. 40. Pete Crichton with 6 penalties. Holy smoly! So that's your reason why there. Darren, he had 3. Crossy 2. So Amazing I actually had 2 penalties there. So that's didn't see his name pop up.
He was very fortunate then that his competitors suffered some of the fate.
So yeah, 4 seconds ahead. So after all those penalties were applied. So. Well, there we go, folks. That's the German Grand Prix done and dusted. So thanks very much for joining us, and thanks again to Braden for co-commentating.
Thank you to our stewards as well, working overtime in this race.
It must have been that working very hard. So yeah, we'll be back next week, of course. I do imagine Ben shall be joining me again next week, and yeah, this is the Turbo once again for RaceOnOz.com, and we'll see you at the Race Spec Esports Pacific Series next week. See you.
Have a good night, everybody.